All right, so here's the initial sketch, right, of the car. So what I'll do is I'll come back with the black, and I'll usually blacken out the wheels. I mean the tires. Sorry, not the wheels. Tires. Again, it's really quick. I'm not going through every single little thing. This is going to be all dark because what I'm going to do is come back with the white Prismacolor and bring back a lot of the lighter areas. Just bring this down to the ground. All right, and then the same thing here. If I'm going too fast, just let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm going to try to do this fairly quick so you guys can have time to draw and I can kind of spend some time with each one of you guys. Okay, so you can kind of see how that looks, right? I think too what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this B pillar all black, and the same thing with the C pillar. Okay, so start thinking about that as you do this. This is probably going to be a little bit darker because it's getting some shade in there. And also, the other thing I forgot too is that this area here, well, you know what? I'll do it a little bit. It's going to be black as well because that's the fender. So this is warm 10. This. Running out. So switch to my other 10, which almost looks like a black. So because this is cool, I'm going to go back and go over the warm. Okay, so right now I still haven't really done much with the shading, right? Okay, so this is the, so that this recording is not so long. So, all right, there's the car, right? So the first thing you have to decide is where the reflection is on your car. It's called the horizon line. Okay, so for me, I think it's going to be sort of like right here, and then it's going to come down, follow this. There's going to be a little bit of a horizon line here, and then, gosh, I think it's going to come back up and do this, and then come back down, and then come around here, sort of like that. Okay, and then come back and finish out there. This is the back window. Get these lines a little bit thicker in the back. Okay, and then the same thing in the windows here, right? There's going to be a reflection on the glass. One thing I'm going to also put in here is probably the back, just barely see the seat, right? It's just kind of sticking just past the pillar. And then on the back, you're going to see another one. And then the steering wheel is going to be like right underneath this headlight. And then this is going to go forward. And then you're going to have another little window there. Okay, so here's what you have to decide, right? Anything that faces down is going to have a reflection from the ground. Anything that faces up, when you're looking at it, is going to get the chalk. The chalk I'll explain that later. Right now, we're worried about getting the marker on there. So that's what this line is, right? This is kind of the dividing line. It's called the the horizon line, okay, on this car. Let me see, I'm trying to figure out what happens in the front. So anything below this line is gonna have, is gonna be marker. And this line here as well, okay? This is all gonna be markered in. And everything above that is gonna get chalk, all right? So, excuse me. Okay, so how do we color that in? Well, let's think about the reflection, right? It's the reflection of the environment around us. So if this were the side of the car, let's say this is the car, and then this is the end of the greenhouse. It comes down, and then that's the end of the body, right? And then the wheels here. And if we're over here looking at it, so this is the side view. If we're over here looking at it, right? This is terrible. I can't do figures. But anyway, okay, so this is us looking at it. Oh, I shouldn't have did the legs. All right, and then anything that when we look at it and it reflects up, right? That's going to get chalk. So this horizon line basically is, I'm calling it like right in here, where we're looking down and it's actually reflecting from the ground, right? And if this is the sun, let's say the sun is above us right here, or light source, right? And this is the ground. As you get closer to the ground, you're going to get reflected light from the ground, right? So that means that this area where we're going to put marker, the lower you get, the lighter it's going to be, right? So we're going to start first with a dark horizon line, right around here. And as you go down, it's going to get lighter and lighter. Okay, does that make sense to everybody? Maybe do you have any questions on that? So usually I start with the darkest, but I think most of you will start with the lightest, right? So this is 4, cool 4, right? So what I'm gonna do, you gotta remember that there's a break here. So what I'm gonna do is start with 4 all the way through, right? All the way sort of up to the horizon line, around this way and down this way, right? If you guys notice, I'm going fairly fast. I'm not doing little, here's the thing with the marker too. I don't do little lines like that. I go from one end to the other, right? It's one of the reasons why we have you do your practice with the lines when you warm up. Try to do your markers. Of course, if it's this small, you can't do that. But when I use my markers, I go all the way across, right? I don't do little scratchy lines. Okay, and then this also gets that, right? So there's a reflection here and there's a reflection here. Okay, maybe a little bit there in the side view mirror, and I don't know, maybe a little, no, not really. This is all gonna be forward. Okay, so from there, now we're gonna do, I'm gonna go to the next darkest, which is a 6. And I'm gonna, since there's a little bit of an edge right in here, I'm gonna do that with a 6. And then the rest of this, I'm gonna do this and try to leave the bottom part of this with the 4, okay? So same thing here. It goes like that, goes like this, and then a little bit here. Maybe a little bit more, just like that, okay? And then 8. So 8's getting closer to the top now. And here it's just gonna be kind of a pencil line. Very tight because the area itself is thin. So you gotta keep it thin, just sort of on the top. And then by the time we get to the 10, let's see. And a lot of times what I'll try to do, if you see how fast I'm going with the marker, I try to put the marker on before the last one is dry, but right here, it doesn't look like it's dry. It's really mixing very well. So what I'll do is I'll come back and I'll sort of wet it again with the marker that was lighter. This is 6. So to help it mix better, so there's a more of a gradation, kind of a gradual gradation with it. And then I'll usually go like that so the ink doesn't stay in there. And then by the time I get to the 10, 10 is going to be at the top. It's basically almost black, right? And so the darkest part is right at the horizon line. As it goes like this. And then I have this coming around like that. And then like this. And also I'm noticing this doesn't really blend in very well. So I'm going to blend it a little bit more. I'm going to come back with a 4. I'm going to blend this in a little bit as much as I can. This is kind of get them to blend in a little bit. And 6 again, a little bit more in here, here, and here. Okay, guys, so that is it for that. Oh, and also I want to do the, forgot about the rack. So the rack is just going to be, you know, a thing here. Usually there's a rack in the middle, and then I'm going to do the back part like that. Okay, so pretty, maybe thinking too, maybe these pieces have a little bit of an edge to it, kind of facing down just barely, right, as they roll under the car. Sort of like that. All right, let me stop it here before I go on to the headlight, the highlights. Okay.